Hey there, Meeple peoples. I'm Mark here with Jessica, Katy, and Greg, and it's February, which means it's the second month, and it's Valentine's Day, which is set up for two people, and it's like 2 degrees outside. So there are plenty of things that have to do with twos. Huh. That seems very, I don't know, pointed.
Correct.
So saying, here is our top list of 5 thingy where we talk about our favorite 2-player games. But before we do that, take it away.
Okay. Well, before we get started, we wanted to just do a little bit of news. We are in the process of getting ourselves scheduled and set up to do a 24-hour marathon, 24-hour gaming marathon for Extralife, which benefits the Children's Miracle Network, and here in Indianapolis, more specifically, Riley Hospital. Now, Greg is a Riley baby. One of our nieces was a Riley baby. So Riley has always been very close to our hearts. So we just kind of wanted to, each month, we'll give you kind of an update on where we stand, hopefully build some excitement, because obviously we need
help
the viewers to watch to make this successful. Plus, we need help. If you're local, that'd be and you want to participate, man, the more the merrier. You're welcome. So the plan right now is that we are going to have 2 tables running with games that run an hour, a lot of conversation, lots of interaction type of games. We're currently in the process of we've got the list of potential games put together. Currently, we have about 50 games on that list. Needless to say, that's too many for just 24 hours. So we need to narrow that down a little bit. But we hope to have 2 tables running. So maybe it won't be too many for 24 hours then. I don't know. But so far, we have met with Justin and Jacob. If you listen to our podcast, if you listen to any of the top 5s and stuff we've done here on the channel, you know that Justin and Jacob were our producers for a long time with the SIA network. They are also our local IT gurus and doing all the technical stuff for us. So we've started getting all that stuff laid down. We've put a poll up on our Facebook group that is basically looking for players and people who want to help out. And most importantly, I think on the money side, we have started ordering sound dampening stuff for various locations all over the house to try to keep excess noise at a minimum as we're playing, so that there's less distractions on the videos. So, but that's where we stand. We just kind of wanted to loop everybody in to what we're doing. Again, try to build some of that excitement for what's coming. And, but right now it is scheduled for the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. We'll probably start, I think we decided noon or 10 a.m. I don't remember.
Wake up.
Yeah, I think we decided noon to noon, Saturday into Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. So more to come. So that's the news. So now we will get started with our top 5 2-player games. And I guess I'm going first again. Okay, so my number 5 2-player game is a game we actually have not gotten to the table in a while, and I really want to. But when I was going through my list, don't peek. When I was going through my list, this is one that has always intrigued me and I've always really enjoyed. But my number 5 is the game of Seastead. Seastead was produced by WizKids in 2020. Again, plays 2 players. It is essentially a 2-player game of a very, very heavy Euro game called Flotilla. Flotilla is unfortunately a 3+ player game, so it does not come to the table very often, but Seastead is a nice alternative to that game. It has a heavy resource management mechanism as well as an I split you choose mechanism in there, which is kind of interesting. The resources are all given to you via card play. And when you decide to do that action, you have to choose which side of the card you want. But whatever you don't take, your opponent gets. So you have to be careful what you're handing to your opponent. So in Seastead, you and your opponent are fighting over the control of 4 flotillas, which are basically the last remnants of old Earth. It is based in a water-type world. Each player starts with 3 different kinds of buildings and 4 ships. Each turn, you can do one of 2 things. You can either dive, which is diving for those resources, or you can build. When you build, you choose one of your buildings, spend the appropriate number of resources based on the flotilla you want to build around, and then get to do the action of the building. So lots of things going on in this one. I really like the amount of depth that it has. The resources are all modular. So there are ways to literally move them. So if the flotilla you want to build on requires purple resources, but your opponent moves it, now the purple resources you've spent all game collecting are needed over here, no longer on that one. So it's very interesting in trying to keep track of what's happening. And I don't know, I like the puzzle that's involved in it. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, that's my number 5.
Yeah. My number 5 is one we have a video out for. It's from 2019. It's Mandala.
Oh, I love this.
She probably forgot about this game.
No,
But
maybe
this is all about you have cards, you're putting out cards with different little, I don't even know what you would call those. It's just art. It's what it looks like.
It's different color artwork. Yeah.
You put it in the mountain. There's 2 different mountains. You put it out there, or you put it in your trail. You put it in the field,
yes.
And you got to get whatever's in the mountain when you break it by once there is
all 6 colors.
All 6 colors
yes.
in one area, it breaks, and the person who breaks it gets them. Well, you start picking.
Yes.
As to what you want, and then you put those into your cup, and at the end of the game, you're going to score different points depending on what color you have in the cup.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, if you really, really want to know, because I know I'm explaining it really bad, just go watch the video we have on our YouTube channel. She teaches it a lot better than I'm trying to explain it, though. But yeah, that is Mandala, a really cool 2-player card game.
This is a really good one. It may or may not show up later on my list. We'll see.
So first off, I had to hedge a little bit on my list here because you remember that list of our all-time top favorite games that we did last time around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every one of those I like to play 2-player because that's kind of how we play. So rather than just rehashing that entire list all over again, I cast about for other games that are either 2-player specific or play well at 2, and then I just kind of rank those. So these are kind of my top 5, but they're not necessarily my top 5. So my number 5 is from 2019, comes from Rob Davio and Justin D. Jacobson, and is distributed by Restoration Games. This is largely pointed at 2 players. This is the Unmatched series, specifically Battle of Legends Volume 1 and 2 and Cobble and Fog. It's a cool little miniature fighting game where you are playing cards to attack and defend, and you're using action points basically to move all over the field. The field is a lot of circular spots where you're moving from one to the other based on where the lines are. And you are spending the game basically trying to outmaneuver and take down your enemy. And I like this game a lot. Admittedly, I would prefer more dice to my combat. I don't like deterministic and kind of luckless battles. I actually prefer there to be a little bit of randomness to it because I feel like that's how battles actually are. The overwhelmingly stronger football team does not always win. But that's a small thing, and it's mitigated a little bit by the card draw here. The other thing, and this is no offense, Restoration, because I know IPs mean money. If I want to watch Spider-Man kick somebody's ass, I've got 6 other games I can do it with. I don't need the Marvel version of this. I actually am more excited about the public domain characters that you have in this because they're generally not overwhelmingly everywhere else. So that's very interesting to me. So at any rate, that is my number 5, Unmatched.
This is one we've not played yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing.
I don't think to the table. Yeah, we need to try it.
Own it, but
it's I was going to say
it's confrontation, and as we said,
I was going to say you guys don't generally do confrontation well.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys don't do confrontation well. Greg doesn't do losing well.
Well,
so
there's that.
This,
but neither does she.
Well, that's true. But So, I mean, that's another reason why this doesn't hit quite as often is because
Mhm.
me and Jess have to actually kind of be in a mood
Yeah,
to play something with actual serious confrontation. But
that makes sense.
it's still a really good, sleek game. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we've heard. So I'm interested in
Yeah,
playing it.
I
but
would not mind playing it at least once just to get
say
a
we've
feel for
played
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
agreed.
So my number 5 is Draftosaurus. Came out in like 2019. I'm pretty certain we got it pretty quick after it came out.
Mhm.
It has 2 expansions. So Draftosaurus is this game where you have dinosaur meeples and you're doing drafting. You've got your little dinosaur zoo kind of thing, dinosaur cell, and it's got little dinosaur meeples. So you've got your little board. Everybody has their individual player boards. And you've got to put your dinosaurs into the correct pins based off of certain elements, like, you can only put the same type of dinosaurs into this one, or only pairs can go in this one, or that sort of thing. And so, I mean, you can, while you're drafting, you can take the dinosaurs that you need. You can hate draft to stop your opponent from getting dinosaurs that they need.
That would never happen.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's
That's
super
good.
cute. It's got little dinosaur meeples. We've got the marina expansion that has like your aquatic dinosaurs.
Mhm.
And then we've got the aerial one, which has like pterodactyls and stuff like that.
Which we should point out are not really dinosaurs.
They're not, they're flying reptiles.
Mhm.
But that's okay. And it's a
I
quick
would-
game.
not have put that distinction there. But
It's,
then I,
Neither does 90% of the game producers.
No, and they'll also a lot
Mhm.
of things that include dinosaurs, from games to movies to cartoons to toys. They also throw in the Dimetrodon, and he
Mhm.
was technically not a dinosaur, but that's okay.
90% of the American public would not know that.
Mhm.
90% of the
So-
American public may not even know what a Dimetrodon is, so that's okay.
I'm
Yeah,
right there.
you said that. I was like, going, what
What?
is that?
Think of, like, I don't know, a kimono dragon with a sail along its back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know
You'll
what that is.
recognize it, but you
They're
wouldn't have any idea
dinogenics.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's okay.
okay.
But you can
See?
play up to
Game
5.
producers don't know either.
You can play up to 5 people with this game. So I mean, it's not just for 2, but it plays
But
really
it
well
plays
at 2.
well at 2.
It
Yeah.
does.
It's
it
quick
plays real
and
well.
fast. You've got the front is one way, and you can flip your individual player board to the back, and it's got like, it's like alternate, and it's cold. And I guess there's like an alternate rule where if you need the game to run longer, you can play the front, and then you flip it over and you play the back, and then you add up your scores between the two. But
Okay.
it's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is Draftosaurus.
All right.
Well, my number
4.
4.
4.
You started to say
You'll
6.
get
didn't
it.
you?
Hold on. I
Oh.
lost my thing. Chaos, anarchy, dogs living with cats. Okay. So my number 4 is 7 Wonders Duel.
Mm.
So
Okay.
this one is obviously, it's the 2-player version of 7 Wonders, which I've never played the original. I've played the Duel, and I've played
Really?
Architect, but I've never played the original.
Well,
Now, in this game,
That'll
I mean,
be
you're
nice.
both basically, building up your country, your people, your
Civilization.
There
There
we
we
go.
go.
And you're trying to beat out the other one. This game is, maybe not the game that you're going to make friends while playing. Your significant other might call you a warmongering heathen on a few occasions.
what?
You call me that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun. You've got, I think it's 3 rounds and
Mhm.
3 eras.
3
at least.
eras,
Yeah.
and you're trying to just get the most victory points. There's
Mhm.
different sciences that you can try to succeed in. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been around for a while. It's been around since like
Mhm.
2015.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This
I
is
feel
a good
like
one.
I,
a lot
I,
of people will know this one.
yeah, I really like this game, but it did not make my list because we don't play it that often because she always has problems with it.
I do not.
She
But you're right.
complains to
We
the
do.
whole
It does
thing.
not come to the table very often.
No.
So
I do admit, I mean, especially after playing, like, say, It's a Wonderful World, where you have a specific draft type thing, that I really appreciate the way that Seven Wonders Duel handles the
Yes.
draft
Mhm.
thing by creating the
Yeah.
pyramid of cards and
Right,
everything
yeah.
like that. So
Yes.
you can
yeah.
sit there and go, okay, I want to take this card, but if I take this card, I could turn over these two cards, and if either one of these two cards is a military card, my wife is going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Because while I'm sitting there, moving my peaceful people to learning sciences and, moving from clay pottery to stone and everything like that, she is sitting there rabble rousing everything and
Mhm.
stabbing all my priests, which, by
And-
the way, I should go ahead and sit there and say my number 4 is also Seven Wonders Duel,
we
despite the
go.
fact that my wife, the warmongering heathen, can, like, just immediately attempts to throw military victories on me in this. See, there are 3
Yep.
different ways to win in this, unless you're my wife, in which there is one, which is just stomp everyone.
It's true.
Okay,
So-
Mark, it sounds like you need to play with Katie because that's exactly what she plays, and I play just like Jessica, so it's going to be one big battle of me
Oh,
and Jess
boy.
playing against
Yeah,
each
me
other.
and Katie will have a great time, and we'll look over at the other table, and it'll be a bloodbath.
It's true. I feel like if you don't go the military route, then you are leaving a lot to chance. But with military,
Mhm.
you can just stomp your opponent. You can't
Mhm.
sit there and hope that you get the right sciences and everything.
Right.
No, just
I
Beat
go
'em
after the military and the buildings
Mm.
because the buildings have a lot of points on them.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I go those 2 routes, and she's over here.
Oh
It's
my
like, well, I
goodness.
need that science so I can get
Mm.
this, and I'm like, and there's times, yes, I hate drafting this one because I'll say, oh, she needs one more of that type of science, and she can, nope, I'm taking that card now.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do anything with it, but I'm
Yeah.
taking that card off the board.
We even went so far early on in this game in getting, because I hated the way the cards just moved around on you in the pyramid. So
Mhm.
I bought off of Etsy a nice board that has all the cards nicely laid out. They stack nicely and they stay in place, and it sits on the wall. It doesn't come off the wall very often, but
Yep.
when we play it,
Cool.
I use it.
That is our number 4, apparently. Seven Wonders Duel.
Right. There you go.
So my number 4 is from Catalyst Games. It is chess-esque. This is the Duke, and it plays kind of like chess. I mean, you're
Yes.
starting out with 3 pieces on. Each piece has a power on the tiles, and as you move it, you flip it over, and now it has a different power. And what the power is, it shows you how it moves. Whether it can just move straight one, or at an angle, or it can slide across the board, or it can
jump other
command people around it to
things.
do other things.
Yeah.
It is really cool. And each round you're drawing a new tile or you're moving a person.
Mm-hmm.
And if you draw, you have a Duke, and then you start off with 2 footmen. When you draw, you have to be able to place the tile you just drew beside the Duke.
Yes.
So you basically have 3 to 4 places you could place your new tile, but you're moving around, and the thing is to catch the other person's Duke, just like in chess, you're trying to catch the king on the other side, though. But I like this better than chess because I suck at chess, but apparently I am a lot better at this game than she is because we've played this like 3 or 4 times, and I beat her all the time.
Yes. I almost won the last game.
She didn't see the move, and I was
won.
Yes, there was a move she could have done and won the game and would have beat me for the first time. And I'm sitting there going, nope, I'm not telling her.
I
I'm
noticed
not
it,
telling her
like-
that move's there. And she moved it the other direction. I was like, going, yes, okay. So now all I got to do is move this there, and now I win the game.
I was so mad at myself.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We first played this at Kingmakers down on Mass Ave in Indianapolis.
Basically a gaming pub type place. Very loud.
And I really liked it, and we searched it out. I found it, and now
Oh no, we found it on a secondhand shelf in a store in Florida. We stopped to get out and stretch our legs.
I searched out the game, and we found it at a secondhand store on a shelf.
Okay.
If I wasn't looking for it, I would never have found it. So.
Okay. Okay. You say so.
Such the meaning as I searched it out. What's your number 4?
Very specific.
Yes. All right. So my number 4 is one that I found at a Target in California years ago on a fluke, picked it up. No idea it was going to be so highly sought after at the time. This is Spirits of the Wild. It was put out by Mattel of all companies back in 2018. I picked this up. My brother and I were, we were looking for something at Target, and I saw this. And I thought, well, that's interesting. It's 2 players. Why not? Greg and I are always looking for good 2-player games. So I grabbed it. It's a very enchanting game. So in Spirits of the Wild, you are collecting colored stones from a central bowl to give to spirit animals to basically appease them to give you victory points. So each player's board has 5 animals listed on it, and each one wants something a little different. For instance, the rabbit wants 3 completely different colored stones. I think there's 6 different colors all in all, plus the spirit stones, which are another matter. The beaver wants 3 of one color and 2 of a different color. And if he gets all of that, he'll give you 7 points at the end of the game. So things like that. Each turn, you're selecting one of your available action cards and activating it. And that's how you know what you're doing. The action cards allow you to either pull stones from the bowl and put them back in the bag and pull new ones out, or pull stones from the bowl and put them into your board. It might allow you to move the fox around. The fox blocks your opponent from putting anything down on that particular animal so he can get it moved. It is just, I don't know. It's a very enchanting game. Is really the only thing I can the only way I can describe it. The spirit stones allow you to, well, first of all, if you can get one out of the bowl, they're very highly sought after. They lock in that animal and allow you to score double on that animal. So that beaver that would have scored me 7 points, if I can fill him up and then put the spirit stone down, I now get 14 points off of him instead of 7. But when the 5th spirit stone comes out, that's it. Game's over. It just stops. So you've got to be very careful on how using that action to pull more stones out of the bag. You may very well end the game immediately. So it's, I don't know. I love this game. I always have. We don't play it very often. We have tried 3 times to film a video on this one.
And something has gone wrong.
Either
I told Ben that the other day when he was over, and I said, yeah, we've tried to video this 3 times now, record it for the YouTube channel, but something has gone wrong. Either
Every
whether
time.
it's the audio, the video is just really fuzzy, and Ben goes, I think the spirits are saying, don't do it.
Yes. Because, I mean, it is crazy. We have had 0 luck with this one.
Yeah. This has a lot of hate drafting in it too, which she does a lot in this game.
But I love this game. I absolutely love this game. So anyway, that is Spirits of the Wild from Mattel.
It's in my top 10.
That's my number 4.
Not in my top 5.
Yeah, well, you don't know what's good.
So your number 3?
My number 3 is ironically another one we've done a video on. Seems to be a pattern. But this is well, I don't know, how do you want to pronounce it? Botanic. I've heard it pronounced a number of different ways. We call it botanic. We call it botanic.
It depends on the day, the hour,
depends on the day.
weather. I know.
So, but there's botanist in it, so that's why I think it's I don't know. Anyway,
Botanic.
Something like that.
I mean, it's botanic gardens is how.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe it's botanic.
How's it spelled?
Botanik.
Yeah.
I would say botanic.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this was put out by Space Cowboys in 2021. We picked this one up again on a whim because it was a 2-player game. Little bitty box. It has tile placement and open drafting, pattern building, that type of thing. So in botanic, whatever.
Yeah.
Tomato.
You are essentially building the most effective network of mecha botanics. Botanic.
Botox.
Botanics. What?
Botanists.
Botanics. I don't know.
Botox.
I am no good. There are not a lot of words I cannot pronounce,
Botanies.
but this is one of them. Anyway, these mega botanics are a combination of plants and science, essentially. So they are pipelines with various plants and stuff coming off of them. The board is called your registry. It is made up of a central column and then a worksheet, a workspace on either side for each player. There are 65 tiles in the game divided into 5 colors, and then each color is further divided into 7 different designs of pipes, flowers, vegetables, or the.
Well, they're all
Botanist.
pipes, but
Well, yeah, that's true. Those are all pipes. They just end.
depends
The
on
flowers
how
define-
the
yeah.
pipe goes.
Anyway, so on your turn, you are basically you're drafting one of the 3 available tiles for that round. You are putting it either into your workspace to hopefully eventually get into your actual pipeline, or you are putting it into the center, which changes the board. It will either lock in what's there, because you can't. All right, so when you put your pieces down on either side of the center, on your side of the center, it is essentially locked there until you can release it. It is released by placing a piece in the center of either the same color or the same design.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that your opponent may have something on the other side that does the same thing. So if I've laid a red piece on my side, Greg will probably lay a red piece on the other side, hoping that a red will get laid in the middle and it'll release both of ours at the same time.
Or something of the same design. It
Or
could be a
something
blue
same
one, but
kind,
it
right.
still looks like yours.
So there's 2 ways to release them. So I don't know, it's just a neat puzzle. You score points at the end of the game based on getting how many pieces of the same color you have.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get a minimum of 3 out there, then you start scoring points. But the more you have, the more they score. There's also flowers, flower designs on some of the tiles, and those score bonus points as long as your section scores.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Again, neat puzzle in what you can release and how to get things to release so that you can match things up. It's just, I love this game. It's my number 3.
And once again,
What am I
another
at, 3?
drafting game of yours that has a lot of hate drafting.
It can,
It does.
but I don't hate draft, so I don't see that, I guess. You hate draft.
Okay, Pinocchio.
Whatever.
She hate drafts. Okay, my next game, my number 3 game, is the first 2 to 4 player game on the list. The other 2 are 2. The rest of them actually are 2 to 4 players. This is from Portal Games. This is Stronghold. We've only played this at 2 players.
It plays best at 2, I think.
Yeah, the way you can play it at 4 players is you're going to be teams.
Yeah.
So it's a castle defense game.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's playing in the castle and they're moving people around to defend the walls of the castle from the ogres, the orcs, and the goblins. The other player is playing the ogres and orcs and goblins, and they're moving their people around in different areas so they can attack the castle and trying to breach the walls. Yep. But the way they do it, the goblins will start off, you get a certain amount of time tokens. So each thing you do is going to take some time. And when the monsters use that time, they suddenly go to the people in the castle. And now the castle people have more time to do different stuff like train their knights and build knights or what have you, make archers, build up the walls and defend the walls. So
build defenses,
pretty cool. But it takes, I think it's 11 rounds. If the castle can hold its defense, I think it's 11 rounds. I might be wrong.
I don't remember.
If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. But if they can defend it for a certain amount of rounds, they win the game. But if the ogres and orcs and all that breach
the walls in
a certain amount of time or whatever, or keep it breached by the end of the round, they win.
Yeah.
So we've played this
it a few
probably
times.
5 times.
Yeah.
Yes, I've marked it down. We've played this 5 times. We have an older version of it. There's a newer version. Plus now there's a zombie version of it out though. But I really like this. It is a confrontational game that me and Katy actually play. And I'm not saying there's not a few heated words between us during these games plays though.
This one's not too bad because it's all about moving your troops.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun because the castle actually can throw out blockades to block certain monsters from coming through areas. So now they can't bring them through there. But then the monsters also have shields they can put up so that the castle's archers can't even hit them. So, but then they can just step around and hit the castle. But it's a lot of fun. And the board is really big.
The board is huge. My only complaint is the size of the creatures are
little bitty cubes.
They must be like half a centimeter.
Yeah, take the cat.
They are tiny.
Yeah, the cubes in Pandemic and like divide them in half. That's about the
Divide 'em
size
by
of them.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are very
They're
small.
pretty small. But you
So,
get a lot of them, so you've got to be able to spread them out around
yeah,
your
you've
board,
got
but
well over 100 cubes. in the
this is
game.
the game. I don't know what the
150, something
newer
like that.
version of this does, but I think the cubes they need to make little meeples.
That would
goblin
almost be
meeples in there.
torture trying to stand all those up, and I was just
For
thinking the same
goblins, just
thing.
pile them up and throw them on there.
I think the
better
cubes
than
would
just
be easier
cubes.
to count. I disagree. I think the cubes in this case, because of the sheer numbers.
Now the
are
cubes you
better.
use when you're defending the castle are bigger. They're like Pandemic
Yes.
size cubes.
Yeah.
So, all right, but that's my number 2 stronghold, or number 3 stronghold.
3.
Number 3.
All right. My number 3 comes from 2018 and 2020 and 2021. It's by David Sickerell. It's from Lucky Duck Games, and it is no surprise whatsoever. This is the entire Chronicles of Crime series.
If I had to bet, I knew this was on your
Oh,
guys'
yeah.
list.
Yep. It's a relatively quick game of solve the crime using an app-driven interface where you scan cards to find things about them and investigate scenes in VR. It's the basic overview. If you have no idea what Chronicles of Crime is like, watch any other of our videos.
Yeah.
And I think honestly it works best with 2 players. We have played it with 4 before, and that's not bad. I feel like if you're doing with 4, you need to cast your VR scenes. But I feel like with 2 players, you could have one of them looking at the phone or the tablet and saying what they see while the other one is like either writing down stuff or looking through the cards. And I like that the mysteries in this have been well written, but they're not so esoteric as like some of the exit games and stuff like that. I don't feel like we make huge, oh my God, leaps of logic to get stuff. I feel like they're set up in such a way that if you do a lot of the point and clicking, you are leading yourself towards an actual climax. You're learning things along the way that point you in a direction. And I don't feel like that with some of the other detective games and like some of the exit series. Long story short, me and Jess can play this game and still not feel dumb.
See, I'm the opposite. I feel like an idiot every time I play this game because I evidently do not think the same way the designers do. Let's just leave it at that, because I just can't get these
Yeah,
games.
she'll get halfway through. If I have
get
trouble
frustrated
finding
with them.
something, she's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's giving me a headache. I
Yep.
don't know. Come on,
Give
use your
me
imagination.
Good old-fashioned paper in front of me, and
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I really like the game because I like
Yes.
trying to
I
investigate
enjoy it
things,
with
but
more players
Mhm.
because there's more ideas bouncing.
more brains working.
More
at the
brains
same time.
working. It's
Okay.
not all mine.
I get that and I understand that, but I feel like the more people you have with something
I
like
agree.
this, the more red herrings you get from
Yeah.
people,
That's
because
true.
people will latch onto something and they won't let it go.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
true.
But
That's
I
very
get
true.
you, but I totally get you. No, I feel like this is I like this a lot with 2 players. I like that they've also spread themselves out over multiple genres now. And they keep the base game mostly intact and just add enough to kind of spice up with their new Millennium series and everything like that. So as long as they're continuing to put out mysteries for this, I'm happy. That's my
Alright.
number 3, Chronicles of Crime.
My number 3 is 5 Tribes. Came out in
Ooh.
2014.
Good
from
game.
Yes.
Days of Wonder, and I don't know, it's not quite worker placement. You got your meeples and your it's not worker placement, but you're definitely
I've heard
picking
it
up the
described as
meeples.
Mancala style.
Yeah.
Yes,
it is
that's
Mancala
a
style.
good way of putting it, because you're picking them up as you go, or setting them down. It's I don't know how to really explain it. I like the artwork, and you got
it's-
genies.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say,
exciting.
and the last colored meeple that you place basically
one you
says
collect.
what your action is.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it is a longer game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, like it's not like 15 minutes and done,
No.
but it's got a lot of different things going for it, and I'd say it's probably my favorite Cathala game.
Mm-hmm. We've got all of the expansions to it, and
Mhm.
I love the all the Dijins and
The
genies
Dijins,
and
yeah.
things like that in it, and
Mhm,
Yeah, I love this
Uh,
game.
mhm.
adds different I want to say mechanics to it, 'cause
Yeah,
that's not real
there are some slightly different mechanics. There's
Mhm.
another
Different.
tribe, which seems really odd because that would make it 6 tribes.
different options. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
different character
Mm-hmm.
types add different options and
Yep.
things that you can do. Actions. That's the word.
Action.
Actions. But I don't know. It's a fun game. I like having all the little meeples. The artwork is really nice.
Mhm. I like the puzzly aspect of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Where you're sitting there going, okay, I need to do this. Which one can I pick up and how can I move them in which to
Right.
handle this?
to get to where I need to be.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because when you get there, you pick up all the ones of that
Mhm.
color
Of that
that
color.
you place there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
It's like sometimes you've got to like I don't know, add in a little extra loop to loop
Uh-huh.
or
Mhm.
something.
Yep.
Not really crossing over yourself, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Right.
A little extra panache to your
Mhm.
He has to take the scenic route
Yep.
to get there.
exactly
Yes.
to make certain that you
Mhm.
get exactly where you need to go and you pick up
Mhm.
exactly
Mhm.
you get rid of all of the pieces that you need to get rid of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a nice game. We haven't played it in a little bit in case
Yep.
you can't tell, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't either.
Yeah, this
soon.
one's good at 2. It's insane with more
Yeah.
because you can't really plan too far
No,
ahead in
I
this game
imagine
because
not.
you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I need that section so I can go there,
Yeah.
there, and then somebody will come through and just wipe it, and you're like, going,
Yeah.
let's start
Yeah,
over.
and then on top of that, there's the auction for
Mhm.
First
for
player,
starting player. So
Yeah.
you add more players into it, then all of a sudden it's like, do I want to get rid of more of these points to
Yeah.
ensure that I'm the first player so I can
Mhm.
do this before they do that?
Yeah.
It's a lot of good give and take. We like it. We like it too. I haven't tried it at more, but I think it would be awfully chaotic.
It
Mhm.
is.
I'm trying to, I think we've
'Cause
only done it once.
We've played it a couple times with more than 2
Have
players.
we?
Yeah, we've
Okay.
had this in our collection for a long time,
We haven't
No,
played it in a while.
I've
and I
been
think we've played it at full player count. So
I've stared down the tiles with the analysis paralysis, planning everything, and then had him go through and just
Yep.
just
Boom.
totally destroy what
just
you're
totally
gonna do.
destroy it. So no,
Yep.
this
It's kind
is
of like hate drafting.
it's kind of like hate drafting, except you're normally not doing it to get back at me. You're
Yep,
focused
probably.
on your own goals.
You
Right.
warmongering heathen.
I am. No, it's a fun game.
It
I
is.
like it. It's got lots of
Yeah.
expansions that add different variables to it. So that is my number 3, 5 tribes. My number 2 is Silver and Gold. Our particular one came from Pandasaurus Games, but I believe it's had other publishers prior. It's not that old, 2019. I actually thought it was a little bit older than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got these cards, then you are kind of drawing your polydominoes onto them with dry erase markers. It's I don't even know really it's considered a pen and pencil game, a pen and paper game, but it's not really.
The flip and right.
It's a flip and
paper.
right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you really were to ask me what, Silver and Gold isn't even really the point of the game, the theme
Nope.
of the game. It's really just the mechanics to it that make it fun. Trying to complete by filling in each of your dry erase boards of, I guess they're islands.
Yeah.
You're trying to completely fill in
islands.
these islands with these
the palm trees and stuff.
with these different like kind of polydomino kind of Tetris-y shapes that you're given, and you want to fill out as many cards as possible, get as many end game scoring points as possible. I don't know. It's such a quick and easy game. We constantly bring it out, and we've got so much time. He's got to be at work. Things like that, and it takes no time at all. I think it's listed as 20 minutes. That's fair.
Yeah.
This is a great travel game. We can
Yes.
take anywhere with us, throw it in a purse and take it with us.
Mhm.
This is one that we oftentimes will throw into the bin of games that go in the car when we travel because it's super simple to just pull out of the hotel and play real quick.
Yeah, it's light.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just relaxing.
It doesn't take a whole lot of thought process,
Mhm.
Nope.
which is nice.
Nope.
So, yeah, it's a good one.
Cool. All right. So, quite by contrast, my number 2 is Silver and Gold.
You two are thinking an awful lot alike today.
Yep. I like it because it's quick. Can be played when you're just waking up and your brain's still in vapor lock. And it's done in like 15 minutes. Bam, play it, done, back into the shelf, we're done. Doesn't have like it doesn't have like a huge depth of tactical consideration or anything like that. I mean, yes, there's choices. For the most part, you're like, okay, well, I need the 2 square one to come up. If the 2 square one doesn't come up, well, I will probably play on this other island.
Yeah,
That's
you
pretty much
usually
it.
have what, 2 islands you can work on at the same time, or is it
Yep.
3?
2.
The 2? Okay.
You have the 2 islands. You've got 7 shapes that come out, but you only play 6 of them for a round.
Mhm.
So there's always one that is probably the one I need
That's
that
out of the game. Yeah.
that
Always.
doesn't play that round.
Yeah.
But no, it's a cool game. It's cool. It's fast. That's really a huge consideration for us. If we can get it out, that's one of the big things. So that is my number 2 as well, which is Silver and Gold.
All right.
Oh, it's me.
Yes, it's you.
My number 2 is a game we got to play for the first time at the Dice Tower Retreat this year, and that is Land versus Sea.
Not surprised.
How to explain this game? Think Carcassonne, kind of, because one person, this can play up to 4 players, and basically you're going to play teams again, because one person is going to be land and the other person is the sea, or one team. And each tile you're placing out has land mass on it and has sea mass on it, and sometimes they have little crosses, and basically you're just laying them out and you're trying to build, if you're land, you're trying to build big land pieces, and once you close them off, you're going to score points on how many tiles that land is on, and if you are the one that closed it out, because other people can close out your stuff, but if you close it out, you get to add all the pluses on there to yourself. But say like Katy was playing the sea and she had this huge area around and had like a bunch of pluses on there, and I close it out, she's going to score the amount how many tiles are there, but I'm going to score all the pluses. So it's kind of a back and forth. It's a really neat game. It's easy to play.
Yeah, it's very Carcassonne like. Closing out your landmass or your sea area is not as easy as it sounds, because every tile has both on it.
Yeah.
So it sounds a lot simpler than it is.
Yeah.
But it is still a very fun game. Yes, I agree. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
We found it and picked it up, and we haven't even
We haven't got our
yet.
copy to the table yet, though. But I really like it. Hopefully soon.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's Land and Sea. Really easy game to play.
All right. Well, my number 2 is a 2 to 4 player game, not teams. My number 2 is King Domino. This was put out by Blue Orange Games in 2016. Is tile placement, open drafting, pattern building are the predominant mechanics. So in King Domino, everybody is basically trying to build your kingdom. You have 2 rows of tiles that are being bid on, 1 row at a time. So you always kind of know what's coming, but you've got your row that you're bidding on, and you're bidding on which tile you want to take based on how you're trying to score. The tiles are made up of 1 to 2 different land types, and you're trying to match your land types, because land types have to be laid. At least one of the 2 land types on the tile you're taking has to match a land type already in your kingdom, so that you can build off of that. And then now you have another land type potentially there that you can help build off of. But you're scoring points at the end of the game based on how many tiles make up your land type, plus how many crowns are in there. How many times has the king
The crowns are the multiplier.
Yeah, the crowns are the multiplier. Thank you. Yes. So if you have 6 tiles that make up the deserts and you have 2 crowns on them, you're scoring 12 points on that desert area. But if you have a 6 tile area of grass and no crowns, well, 6 times 0 is 0. So you got to watch those crowns. So you're bidding for your tiles, and that becomes your turn order next turn. So whoever bid, and the tiles are put out in numeric order. So your less desirable tiles are the lower ones. So you may have to take a less desirable tile to get first player to make sure you get the tile you want in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a neat balance. In 2 players, you are bidding on 2 separate tiles. The typical game plays in a 5x5 square. Everything has to fit 5x5. You can't bleed outside of that. In a 2-player game, you can play with more tiles and do a 7x7. That's
the way we
typically how
normally
we'll
play.
do it. Just to extend the game. The game's only 20 minutes typically, so it extends it to a little bit longer. But no, great game. Neat, again, puzzle aspect to it, trying to line everything up so one, you're not left with blank spaces, because if you ever pick up a tile you can't use, it's discarded and you now have a hole in your kingdom. Really enjoyable. But that is my number 2, King Domino. And
I had a feeling this was on your list.
what, King Domino?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you guess what my number
Because you
1
really
is?
like it.
I
but
do love this game. Matter of fact, for my birthday, I got the jumbo size. I love playing that one.
Mhm.
Can you guess my number 1?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, I have
Queen
no
Domino.
idea what yours is. No. All right. So my number 1 has already been talked about, is Mandala. I love this card game. And like I said, Greg's already explained it. We've got a video out on it, which I actually
I didn't explain it that well. I said go watch the video.
I watched the video the other day.
Mhm.
Whew, you can tell it's an early one. It's rough. So maybe not. Don't go watch
It's
that
one
one.
of our most
It's
watched
rough.
videos, though. But
It is. All right. So in Mandala, again, two-player card game. And I don't want to go into a full description again, but yes, you basically have the board is a cloth board with 2 mandalas on it. Each one has a mountain running through the middle, and then each player has a field on their side. The goal is to get the most cards in your river and your cup. So the
she has more
mandalas,
technical terms.
the
for it.
mandala breaks when all 6 colors are presented in the thing. Now, the big key to this, and the thing that I think we missed on yours, was that you can't duplicate a color. So if red is already on the mountain, you can't put red in your field. You can add to it in the mountain, or you can put it on the other mandala if it's not already there, but you cannot put it into your field if it's already present on the mountain or in your opponent's field. So once all 6 colors are present across the mountain and both fields, then it breaks. And the cards on the mountain are distributed based on, well, starting with anyway, whoever has, no, not the person who broke it, whoever has the most cards in their field.
Oh, that's right.
So if I broke it with 3 cards in my field, but Greg has 4, he's going to get first pick of those cards in the mountain. So he's going to take whatever benefits him most, and then I will get second pick, and it goes back and forth from there until all of the cards in the mountain are gone. So if you're going to break it, you need to make sure you can do it right and have the most cards in your field. So once everything's broken, everything transfers down into the river and the cup. You take the river is made up of 6 spots, 1 for each color card. The first card you take off of the mountain, if you do not already have that color in the river, one of them has to go into the river. That becomes your scoring qualifier. Everything else goes into the cup of that color. So if I already have a yellow card in my river and I'm picking up 3 yellows off the mountain, those can all go into my cup because I've already got that qualifier. The game ends when one person has all 6 colors in their river. So they have collected at least one of every color off of the mountain. And then from there, you score up. So the first card you pick up, that yellow that I picked up first, is only worth, each of my yellow cards is now only worth 1 point. But the last card I picked up was the blue. Well, if I happen to pick up 4 blues at once, and that blue is sitting in my number 6 spot, those other 3 blues that are now sitting in my cup are worth 6 points each. So it's a weird balance in getting the cards you want. What's going to be worth more? Those 2 reds that are sitting in the 5 spot, or the 4 blues that are sitting in the 2 spot. So it's, I don't know, very fun game. I absolutely adore this card game.
She
One of my
hates it.
favorites. Whatever. Anyway, that is my number 1.
Yeah. Can you guess my number 1?
I cannot. No, I would have thought it would have been the Duke.
This is a game from 1876 is when it was first put out. And we just got it.
Crocodile.
Yeah.
Crokinole, yes.
I was gonna say,
I have been, since I first saw it at Origins, probably 6-7 years ago.
something like that.
I've been wanting to play this, and then she and my sister-in-law got to play it before I did, and they gloated about it on Facebook or messaging me back
We
and
didn't
forth.
gloat about it on Facebook. Justin sent you a picture of me playing it.
Yeah, but yeah, so my sister-in-law bought it for me for Christmas, and I this is a game that if somebody says want to play Crokinole, I'm already sitting in the chair ready to go.
That game hurt my fingers.
It takes
it
a certain
can.
amount of finesse.
Yeah, get into. I'm not big on too many dexterities because you think being in construction for over 30-something odd years, you would think I'm really good at dexterity from walking walls and everything. No, when you got big fat fingers, it's hard to maneuver things when it's. Anyway, but yeah, Crokinole is a dex game where you're flipping pucks onto the board, trying to score points or get it to the center. But each turn you put it out, you have to hit an opponent's puck
First.
or that one doesn't score unless they have none on the board.
Yeah.
You also got a center tile. The center hole is what you're really wanting to aim for because once that scores, it can come off the board and it's 20 points for you. But if your pucks are still out there, the next player can just knock it off. This can play up to 4 players. Never played with 4 players. Only played it 2. But
you guys got to play it 4-player on New Year's.
We played it at 4, on teams.
Basically teams, yeah.
I have not. But but I really like this game. I love the way it scores because everything cancels out each other, and then whoever has the most points.
You're left with whatever's your score for that round is whatever's left after everything's been canceled out.
And I was told Tony was the shark at it, and then I played her and totally dominated her on that game. Well, the 3 games she kept saying, no, again. And every time I beat her by more and more points. So
Feather in his cap, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's Crokinole, my favorite 2-player game.
Awesome.
Your number 1. Okay.
My number 1 comes from 2017 and is designed by Adrian Adamescu and Daryl Andrews. Floodgate Games. This is Sagrada. It is undoubtedly one of the prettiest games we own. You roll and you draft dice to try to fill stained glass windows. You're following certain restrictions, including those shown on the inserted card that you put into your well-made little stained glass window board. And you try to attain goals. It has dice rolling. It's pretty to look at. It's relatively easy mechanics, easy to teach, and it doesn't eat up your whole afternoon. I'm sold. That is my number 1, Sagrada.
It's a good one. Love this game.
Been in our collection since it came out.
So for my number 1, I wouldn't say this is my favorite 2-player game of all time. I feel like this one has a lot of potential. And I can only harp on the same games every podcast for so long. So my number 1 is the Unmatched series. The same one from Mondo Games that we talked about earlier. I enjoy being able to play the different types of characters. We've played Alice in Wonderland versus Medusa. And we've played
Sherlock Holmes
versus Dracula.
Yes.
It's a very easy game to learn, to pick up. We have all of the non-IP except Houdini and the Genie. So that's the next one that we need to get. You get variable player powers. So, nobody's exactly doing the same thing or has the exact same hits. You can You know that if you're going up against like the Medusa, you need to have lots of blocks. With Dracula, you've got his 3 brides, so you've got your extra little minions that spiral out. Alice has her Jabberwocky. I think Medusa has harpies.
Yep.
I think Sherlock
Holmes has
Watson.
Dr.
Yeah.
Watson.
So
He's just got the one, but they seem to really team up really well.
There's no dice, and so that does kind of change it. But there's still a lot of a luck aspect to it because you've got to pull the right card at the right time. You've got to be in the right place for that card to even be useful.
Yep.
And of course, it also depends on your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. But no, I think and Unmatched, especially if you're looking for a 2-player game where you're actually butting heads, it's actually a competitive take that kind of game. Unmatched is a nice little series. I enjoy it a lot.
Absolutely.
So that's my number 1, Unmatched.
Cool.
Awesome. So that is our top 5 2-player games. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Games that play
Games
good
that
at
play well
2 players.
Yeah.
Yes, not necessarily 2-player only games.
Yes.
But games that play well at 2 players.
Exactly.
All right.
At any rate.
Well, and with that, I guess we'll
see everybody at the next one.
Yeah.
There we
Yep.
go.
See you next month.
Bye.